So hello, welcome to this practical. So today we're going to be talking about fulfillment, or going to be trying out some things related to fulfillment in a chatbot. So just as a review, what we have here, what we've been doing the past few weeks is understanding the Dialogflow intent matching process, right? How you train all the intents, how you annotate all the entities and parameters, and how you actually give out responses, right? So this is the middle part, which we have been focusing on the past few weeks, and we've had a few examples on it, ending with the pizza bot, okay, which more or less demonstrates the concept behind this concept of managing the flow, right? In order to gather some information and then give some responses. So that is this is basically your CA1, right? CA1. So now we're going to be focused on fulfillment. So fulfillment is basically fulfillment is where you have this database and of course a web service or web server which is connected to Dialogflow. This Dialogflow will send a request to your fulfillment, let's say for a stock information, and the bot will actually receive a response based on the code that's contained or the logic that's contained in the fulfillment. Okay, so there's a concept here called a request, and the specific term is called webhook request, which we're going to see later on, right? So this capability of fulfillment allows your bot to be fully functional, right? It's just like a website which has dynamic data, from a database, as opposed to a website which is static. So if you notice, when you create Dialogflow, right now all the responses are static responses, right? Sort of canned responses. And so you notice you have to create a lot of intents, a lot of trainings, and then create responses individually for each of them, because everything is static. But once you have a dynamic type of response where it's based on logic, then you don't have to have too many intents, and the response will come from sort of your database. All right. So there's a bunch of possibilities with fulfillment. As I say, one is, and we're going to do both. One is your server will actually connect to a database, all right? Like an FAQ database, like that FAQ database which we did for DBS, right? In our previous practical. All of this can be placed inside some sort of database to store that information, right? And you could have like hundreds or thousands of entries there and make your bot a lot smarter. And you could also have the data coming from what you call an external API, right? External API is something like a weather service or maybe a stock quote service, wherein you will send requests from your webhook service into the external API. Okay? So your webhook service is the bridge by which Dialogflow or their agent will be able to get all this data. This is just a bridge. You do not go from Dialogflow directly into your external API or your database. You need to have a bridge, a web server to actually do these things. So that was what we are going to be learning in today's practical. All right. And so this will basically complete our bot. Now, because this one has a bit of coding involved and certain things which you may not be familiar with, we're going to begin from the beginning. All right. And we'll try to explain every concept. No? So, you will know what options you have when creating your bot, because I'm going to give you a few options to do this. Okay. So we will have two options. The first option is we're going to be creating our own servers to do that. Okay. So the advantage of that is you're not tied into a particular vendor, right? You can go into any cloud service and then use your code, to attach it to your agent, right? So you have more flexibility, but you have to do a little bit more work. There is also the other option, which you use a server already built into Dialogflow called an inline editor. Okay, so both of these will do the same thing. You have the custom server and you have the inline editor. So these are the two options. We're going to show you both options. Then in your CAs, you can make a decision, or CA2, you can make a decision which one you want to use.